Welcome to Dark Knight Films Reviews and another Versus Night. Tonight, I will be comparing North Dallas 40, released in 1979, versus Friday Night Lights, released in 2004. So, let's get started with this, with the leads. North Dallas 40 stars Nick Nolte and Mac Davis. Friday Night Lights stars Billy Bob Thornton and Lucas Black. Now, out of our two leads in North Dallas 40, only one of them had actually played football prior to that film, and that was Nick Nolte. Nick Nolte had played football in school before becoming an actor. And it shows on there. He looks very comfortable on the field. It's very similar to when Burt Reynolds would play a football player in either The Longest Yard or Semi-Tough. He is really comfortable and looks good on the field because he used to play football. So, Mac Davis is mostly known as a songwriter and singer. So he dabbled in acting. He played in a few films, and he wasn't a bad actor. But he doesn't look as comfortable and as good on that field playing this grizzled, older quarterback character that he's supposed to be playing in this. Now, Nick Nolte playing this grizzled and older receiver who has been in the league for I think it said in the film he was in there for 8 years already. And by this point in his career, he is being relegated to the sidelines. So it's really just fun to watch how frustrated he gets as a character and how well he plays it, his frustrations of being forced to the sidelines. Because Matt Davis's character is getting to go out and play, even though they do have this young quarterback possibly setting up to replace him down the road in the film. But yeah, Nick Nolte is the standout in North Dallas 40, of course. His performance in this, how he plays up, how battered and bruised and everything his body has become throughout his years of playing pro football. It's totally believable, and you really feel for him, but at the same time, you're like, man, dude, God, you really feel you're hurting that much that you gotta, take all these, pills and everything and all this stuff for the pain and everything. My God, and he's putting so much into it, as far as the character. He so wants to go out there and continue playing, even though it's killing him continuing to play out there on the field with all these injuries. But he just plays it so well, and Nick Nolte is one of those actors that is so charismatic that, he makes you feel for him in any role that he plays, basically. So, this film is no different. Like I said, Mac Davis wasn't really, known primarily as an actor. He was more songwriter and singer. So his performance in this is okay, but not up to the same standards as Nick Nolte. Now, with Friday Night Lights, Billy Bob Thornton plays a high school coach, and Lucas Black plays this young quarterback on his team that's in his last tenure. So this is the last year that he could possibly help his coach to win a championship. And he's feeling the pressure from that. And Lucas Lucas Black plays that really well. All the pressure that he's feeling from that, and plus the fact that his character's mother is in poor health, and he's worried about trying to care for her, plus going out there and trying to play at the best of his ability on the field. But Billy Bob Thornton as the coach, he's just, that's one thing where these two films differ. His coach is quite a bit different than the coach and I'll get to the coach on North Dallas 40 soon, but on supporting. But he is so likable as the character, and the speeches that he gives to his, sometimes when you hear speeches from coaches, they seem like they're just bullshitting their players and everything, and just telling them what they want to hear just to get them to go out there and play their asses off. And but most of his motivational speech stuff that he does in this it feels like it's from the heart. He does a really good job of playing that in here. So this one's really tough because the performances of both of our leads in this are really, really good. But I'm just going to give this one to North Dallas 40, though, because of Nick Nolte's he's it's so hard watching him in all the pain that he plays up as this character, and he does it so well. I just think all of those elements with him, as much as I love Billy Bob Thornton's performance in there, I think Nick puts a bit more into that in making you feel for that character. So I'm going to give this one to North Dallas 40. So, all right, so let's move on to the supporting cast. North Dallas 40's supporting cast consists of G.D. Spradling, Dale Haddon, Bo Svensson, John Matuzak, Steve Forrest, Dabney Coleman, and Charles Durning. The supporting cast of Friday Night Lights consists of Derek Luke, Garrett Hedlund, Jay Hernandez, Tim McGraw, Lee Jackson, Lee Thompson Young, Connie Britton, and Brad Leland. Now, in the supporting cast on North Dallas 40, that's where we get our coach, played by G.D. Spradling. And, man, what a total difference in two films this is. G.D.'s performance in here is, God, you just cannot stand his bullshit that he is constantly feeding to Nick Nolte's character on the reasoning behind him keeping him on the sidelines and stuff. And you can see in Nick Nolte's performance that it's just irking the hell out of him that this coach is, just giving him a line of bullshit on why he is putting him on the sideline and everything with the whole you're immature, your attitude is the problem and all this stuff. And it's just, we're a team, and everything. And all of that, is by the end of this film is bullshit. Because if he cared about the team, he wouldn't have done half of the shit that he does by the end of this film. Shooting up the players to get them to go out on the field so that their bodies are numb so that they can get even worse injured on the field is not being a good coach in this. And that's what he basically does in this. And some of the other characters, like Charles Durning is the assistant coach to GD's character in here, and he is equally as despicable in the way he does in there. And but I do kind of like Charles Durning's performance in here a little bit better than GD's performance, just because, I mean, he's really good at playing guys that you don't like. I've seen GD Spalding playing a lot of characters like this, and he just excels at that, you know. So whenever you despise him, you despise him. But Charles Durning's character, he's always just, he's like he's the wanting to be the head coach so bad that he's always stepping in.
5 minutes!
How long, Coach?
5! Fuck you!
He's so good in that performance in here. Dale Haddon is the love interest to Nick Nolte in the film, and she gets quite the good story arc throughout this film, and I really enjoyed her performance in this. Bo Svensson and John Matuszak are on the opposite side of the spectrum as far as Nick Nolte and Mac Davis, and they are the big badass tough players on the team and everything. And Bo Svensson's character is annoying as hell, because he is just like this, you know, overgrown kid that is just constantly wanting to get what he wants, and gets upset with Nick Nolte's character for, you know, trying to curb him and keep him in check and everything. And, you know, he's annoying. John Matuszak is the second person in North Dallas 40 that was an actual football player. He actually played football with the Oakland Raiders in pro football. So he knew about pro football while playing this character and everything. So he is really good, but he doesn't get as much screen time or as much time to shine as what Bo Svensson does. But I think he gets the better moment in this film, because he has this moment near the end of the film where he completely goes off on Charles Durning's assistant coach.
This ain't no high school. You don't have to love each other to play.
It's just what I mean, you bastard. Every time I called a game, you called a business. And every time I called a business, you called a game.
And I just love Nick Nolte's reaction to him going off there.
You old chicken shit cocksuckers! God damn you!
Far out.
Steve Forrest plays the owner of the team, and Dabney Coleman plays his brother. And they're much like Judy Spalding's character, and they are completely oblivious to caring about the players on their team and everything, and are more just about whatever it takes to get what they want on that football field. And so, yeah, they're not very likable characters at all in this film. On the other side of the spectrum, on Friday Night Lights, you have Derek Luke playing the character of Booby. And he irked me. He annoyed me with his cocky attitude and everything in the film. And then when his character gets, you know, injured and everything, I mean, and everybody, I don't know if it was as much Derek's performance in here that caused me to feel that way, or as much as it was Billy Bob Thornton and the rest of the media and everything, and people around his character, just filling his head with that, hey, you're the star, you're the, you know, even his uncle character in the film is, you know, just like, you know, making him out, trying to fill his head with, you know, I'm the star, I'm gonna be playing in the NFL sometime, you know, and everything. I'm a future star of the NFL, you know, and all that. And when he gets hurt, that's where I was just like, man, some of those sequences, I mean, you know, he goes off on a doctor after the doctor tells him, your knee is messed up too bad, you shouldn't be playing football ever again, you know. And then he goes against that, and his uncle does not tell Billy Bob Thornton that the doctor said that it was as bad as it is. And he goes back out there on the field and gets hurt even worse because of it. But I think Derek's performance was good. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made me kind of get irritated with him like that. But just as a character, just being the egocentric character of the story, he just becomes irritating, is all. Garrett Hedlund is really good here with his character and his dynamic with his father character, played by Tim McGraw. Tim McGraw's character just, almost like Derek, kind of irritates the hell out of you throughout the film. And by the end of the film, he finally opens his eyes and shows real love for his son, thankfully. But the performances between those two are really good in this film. Jay Hernandez is pretty good as Chavez in here, and he doesn't get as much screen time as some of the other players, but the moments that he gets, he's more the inspirational guy. He's the guy, you know, giving a little bit of inspiration to his teammates. And the same thing goes for Lee Jackson. Lee Jackson plays the total quiet badass on defense that doesn't say much. He just lets his, you know, work on the field speak for itself and everything. But there's a moment near the end of the film that is just, I love that, because he finally just comes out of his shell.
What's wrong with y'all? Y'all play like some little girls. Y'all like y'all never played football before.
You finally opened up. So he was good. I liked him. And of course, Lee Thompson Young plays basically the backup to Derek Luke's character of Booby. And when Booby gets hurt, of course, he comes in and shows that he is that you had other stars on your team. You didn't have to be trying to hype up one player as your team. You have an actual great team here and everything. And I think that was the moral of the film overall, was that, you know, don't always try to overhype on just one player and put everything on that one player. Support your whole team, you know. And eventually, like I said, Billy Bob Thornton's character does do that. And playing his wife in this is Connie Britton, and she gives a really good performance. But I don't think she gets as much screen time as she deserves in here. And I think by comparison, in North Dallas 40, I think Dale Hedden gets a lot more character development than what Connie Britton does. Ironically, Connie Britton and Brad Leland ended up joining the TV series that they based after this film later on, playing a similar character, playing the coach's wife, and Brad Leland was playing a similar character to what he plays in this, playing this big backer thing, the big money guy, and everything, stepping in there. But he annoys the hell out of you too in here. So he does his job well, threatening Billy Bob Thornton's character.
Or what?
Oh, you know, that'd be a real bad deal for you, Gary. So, all right.
It's just annoying to see that, but well played. And he played a similar role, like I said, in the TV series. So it's like, you know, it's ironic that they brought back two actors from the feature film for the future television series based on it. So, for the supporting, I think I'm going to give this one to, as much as I really like, you know, and there's a lot bigger names basically in North Dallas 40 with Bo Svensson and Dabney Coleman and Charles Durning in there. I think some of the performances in Friday Night Lights were better for supporting. So I'm going to give this one to Friday Night Lights. All right, now let's move on to story. North Dallas 40 follows, as I said before, two aging players trying to maintain and, you know, keep up in pro football. Friday Night Lights follows, of course, this head coach who is trying to deal with managing his team after losing his biggest player on their team to an injury. One with North Dallas 40 is based on pro football. The other, Friday Night Lights, is based on high school football. So you are getting two different sides of it. You are getting pro with North Dallas 40. You're getting the pro football aspect of it where, you know, these coaches in here, and this was based in the 70s, so these coaches in here are really, you know, injecting these guys with stuff to numb them up and get them to just go out there and just keep playing through injuries and play, you know, taking all sorts of pills, take this, take that, do this, do that. And by the end of it, as I said before, you know, G.D. Sprawlin's character is, alongside Steve Forrest and Dabney Coleman, are despicable characters. They were just using Nick Nolte and a lot of their other players to try and get a championship. When they don't get that, they bring Nick Nolte's character into the office and they basically just, you know, pull the wool out from under him and just, you know, just threaten to suspend him because of activities that he's been doing that is against the league's rules, even though they are the ones who pushed all of this on him to begin with. So the story on North Dallas 40 is a much more heartbreaking as far as that goes. Ironically, both films show the teams not winning their big game at the end and losing the big game at the end that they're trying to win. But in Friday Night Lights, it you know, you don't have all that, you know, tell them, hey, you got to take these pills, you need to get out there, you need to play, don't care how hurt you are, get out there and play and everything. It doesn't have any of that in it, thankfully, because that was annoying to see how GD's character, Charles Durning's character, and, you know, Steve Forrest and Dabney Coleman, how they were doing Nick Nolte and Mac Davis's characters and everything, and other players as well on the team that they did that with. But it in Friday Night Lights, that whole injury aspect of it and everything with Derek Luke's booby is, it helps because it brings the focus more on all these other players, and like I said, it makes them focus more on the actual team and realize, yes, we had more stars than just Booby. Booby was not the only star on this team, the way that the coach was originally putting him on this pedestal and the way the media was and everything. So, depends on your what kind of a film you want to watch. If you want to watch a more really, really somber one where, it is more dramatic and just, they are just putting the poor guy through the ringer, North Dallas 40 would be the film for you. But if you're wanting a more inspirational one where even though the team loses in the final game, it ends on a much brighter note than what it does in North Dallas 40. So I'm going to give this one to Friday Night Lights on the story. I think it was the more inspirational side of it wins out over that dark and depressing ending of North Dallas 40. Now let's move on to direction. North Dallas 40 is directed by Ted Kotcheff. Friday Night Lights is directed by Peter Berg. Now, I like Ted Kotcheff's direction in this film. But in a way, I do not think it is as good as some of his other films that he did. This is the same director that would end up directing the first Rambo movie, First Blood. And God, that movie was amazing. This one, being a sports football movie, I just don't know if he just was, just out of his element there, because some of the football scenes, it is apparent that the NFL did not give their blessing for this film to be made, and there is no mentions of the NFL. The team is a fake Texas team and everything. And meanwhile, in Friday Night Lights, it is based on a real high school team from Texas. So the films also have that connection of both teams being from Texas. But Ted's direction at times can be really cool, really good. But I think the shots on the field and everything, the filming of the football elements, I think they were much better shot, much better put together in Friday Night Lights with Peter Berg. I think he really did some really good stuff in there with the football sequences in Friday Night Lights. So I'm going to give this one to Friday Night Lights as well. So, if you're keeping track, that gives the win to Friday Night Lights with a score of 1-3. North Dallas 40 is a really good film, but like I said, it is very depressing watching the punishment that you see that this poor guy Nick Nolte's character suffers through, and all the bullshit he has to deal with the coach, the owners. I mean, God, it's heart-wrenching, that is, watching what he has to deal with. Whereas, like I said, Friday Night Lights has more of a upbeat ending. Like I said, even though the team loses, it's not on a downer of a. I mean, they learned to be a great team together. But what do you guys think of the films? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you disagree? Let me know in those comments down below. And if you like this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to click that bell icon so you can be notified about future videos just like this one. And while you're by the subscribe button, click that join button and become a Dark Knight fan. All right. Hope you've enjoyed this versus night. I hope you will join me tomorrow for another horror movie night. Till then, thanks for watching.